This MC909 sampling groove box. It's a new kind of evolution of where our groove boxes have come from before, from 303s and 505s. This one kind of encompasses it all. We've actually made this into a full-on workstation now. So not only does it have, you know, the built-in ROM sounds, but you can now use it as a full sampler. It has the ability to do some of the very phrased things that we've seen in the past. There's, for instance, if you can hear this well enough, it's an R&B pattern. Combination of samples along with the pattern information of this, you know, the regular patches. But when I play it, I can sit there and pitch it up and down or change the BPM without affecting the pitch. So here I can speed it up or slow it down. Hardly any artifact at all. Then on top of that, I can change the pitch. If I just want to have a new key, keep the same BPM. Or I could do both at once, like a record. So we can do samples as well as just regular MIDI data with that. And that gives it a whole new evolution for it as a workstation. So anyone could come and use this. The pads are velocity sensitive, so now we want to come in here and I want to play, let's say, a drum machine. So the kit. So you notice that it's full velocity. And I can set up to 16 parts in here. So any of the parts in here can be a drum kit if I want to set that up. So I can set up layered kits or just put all in one. I can put all different kinds of stuff. Sampling is one of the coolest things on here. This is, like I said, a full-on sampler. I can come in here, for instance, and let's say I just want to pull in a beat. I got it hooked up to my Mac just to do some sampling from. So I'll just have it, hopefully the Mac will work today for me. Come on now. So I can come in here and take, let's say, this beat, and I want to just sample it inside to the machine digitally. It has built-in digital I/O as well as regular analog, 6 outs and then stereo in, plus USB for file exchange as samples if I want to do that, or MIDI data. So if I want to set this up, I can know the tempo ahead of time and set it up so it's going to sample the right amount of time. So let's say I want to put it at 100 BPM, just like what we got here. Now, when I set this up to do just 8 beats off of this phrase, it'll automatically sample it to the right length. Okay, all done. It's got full looping tools. You can go in here, let's say I want to go and normalize that, just bring up the volume. I can come in here, tell it to normalize the waveform so it's a full maximum volume like a regular sampler. But here's what's the cool part. After I do this, I want to take all those little bits of that phrase and turn it into my own drum kit. So here's this loop again. I'll go into the chop mode and tell it to go and just automatically chop it into sections so I can lay it out on the pads. So now I can just turn that into a nice drum kit. Tell it to go ahead and execute. It'll lay it all out in separate samples automatically for you. And the machine's nice enough to say, hey, you want to create a rhythm kit, so you don't want to do all the work of assigning that. It'll build me a rhythm kit real nice and quick. And automatically allow me to have my own setup and samples. And pretty much just, you know, make it easy for you to go and make a new beat from those samples. Just so you know, the sampling, it comes standard with 16 megabytes. You can put in a normal, you know, PC DIMM inside of it. That'll expand it to a total of 272 megabytes. That would give you over 27 minutes of sampling in stereo. So the idea that's really cool is, yeah, you got smart media for storage, and also there is built-in flash ROM for storage. But the neat part about having that extra RAM means that if I put together a whole performance or a pattern or multiple patterns as a song, I can resample it and save it as a standard WAV file. It could be like a 15-minute mix as a standard WAV file on this card, hook it up to USB to my computer. Now I can import it to my computer, and I can now burn a CD or make it into an MP3 file, which allows it to be a real full workstation. So a guy could sit at home, sample some stuff into it, build a whole pattern, throw his vocals into it, still have plenty of RAM left to go and add this, mix it down to a full song. And well, all at the same time with real-time control. This is a full-on synth. There is nothing held back here. What if I'm working with a sound here, let's say I bring up like this particular synth sound, I could come in here at any point And if I want to edit it, I'll just go over here, hit edit, and I can go to what's called zoom edit. Now it's like having a full-on synth editor here. I can look at these different screens. At the same time, as I'm working on this, I can see what my settings are changing to. If I want to come in here and work on the amp. So it's like a full-on synth editor built in the machine, making it easy for you to work on the sounds and change the character completely. So that can be saved as a new patch. You also can use SRX boards. So I could throw in, let's say, SRX05, which has got the great drum kits and synthesizers and stuff for the dance type music, into this machine, and now I have more patches. This isn't a preset closed architecture. So that's the real beauty of this machine, is you can fully mix everything and use it. We have a choice of adding more RAM as well as SRS expansion. Of course, you can resample any of your sounds back into it, so you can make layers and stacks and things like that. Saved as either WAV or AFF file format. So at that point, you can save on the card, throw it in your computer, and it's completely readable. There is no proprietary format. And we'll be working with Chicken Systems. They'll be developing an MC909 converter, so you could take different file formats of MPCs or Kurzweils and convert those samples into a native format for a 909 and be able to use that as well. So you could fly those sounds into the machine itself. So it gives you a very wide open architecture on it. So with the D-Beam, it's completely assignable like it was on the 505, except now we have two D-Beams. So I can come in here and do theremin type effects, or I can play a sound, or if I want to, I can set it up to any kind of control message. A new thing that's on here is what's called V-Link. So a guy can sit there and use this as a video controller. This is a big surface controller, essentially. So if there's nothing optional other than DIM or smart media for storage. Everything else is standard on this product. So if you're looking at a workstation that be used for composing beats like an MPC, that makes sense. But also if you're a guy who needs a full-on sampler and synth workstation and sequencing, that's been really beefed up a lot. We could come in here, we have full-on editing here for our microscope mode. This doesn't even exist even on our own Phantom, where we could come in through here and we get like piano scroll as well as here. Also, we could do step entry for our pattern if we're doing recording. We can do TR record, where we can actually look at it. We can see where we're at as far as where scales. We can set it up. We have like a full-on drum editor. So for sequencing, it's been beefed up a lot too.